You might be wondering, why are we putting regular thread on the machine and a regular bobbin? Doesn't machine embroidery use like special thread? It does, yeah, absolutely. But there's a reason I'm having you do it this way. Learning how to thread the machine and put in the bobbin is so important that I want to make sure you can do it. And I want to make sure you can do it correctly. And the best way to know that is to be able to make some stitches. The stitches will tell us if something is wrong, and it's super easy to do that in the regular machine mode. So let's make a stitch out. I am using just 2 pieces of plain muslin here, quilter's cotton, and we're going to see how it stitches out. So I start with my needle up, then I put my presser foot down, and now I'm going to sew. You can either use the button there, or you can use your foot pedal. And remember, you can change the speed to how quick you feel comfortable sewing. When you get to the end, you can press the cutting feature if you'd like, and lift your presser foot so you can see your very first stitches. Right over here, we have a little bit of the thread tails. You don't have to worry about that. And I used 2 different colors of thread so that we can evaluate how well our machine's tension is set. When we look at the back here, we have a pink line and we have tiny little dots of blue. When we look on this side, we have a blue line with tiny little dots of pink, which means this is perfect. And we have everything on the machine set correctly. If anything goes wrong while you're stitching, the first thing to do is always rethread your machine. Now that we have a beautiful stitch out here, let's try some of the other stitches and learn how to adjust this. Over here we have the width, length, and tension. I'm going to press this button to select between them. That is the width setting, but since I'm doing a straight stitch, it doesn't apply here. This is the length setting. I can start at 2.5, which is what I was already doing, and then I can make it very big, or I can make it very small. You noticed it blinked right there? That's telling me that I've returned to the optimal setting or the factory setting for that selection. 0 means it's going to go just in one spot. So let's bump it up just the tiniest little bit and see some really tiny stitches. So it went from a normal stitch to a very long stitch length and then almost tiny, tiny, tiny stitches. Now let's change to another stitch type. Select regular stitches or functional stitches, which are things like straight stitch and zigzag, or the faux serger edge, different buttonholes, and a few decorative stitches. The star function has even more decorative stitches. So I'm gonna select that, which is on number 1 right now, and I can use the guide down below to tell me what each one is. To get to another number, we're just going to press the up button or the down button. Number 2 moves the needle to the left side. Number 3 is a triple stitch. Number 4 is a lightning bolt, which is great for knit fabric. But we're going to go to number 6, which is a zigzag. On number 6, we can adjust the width and the length. This is the tension, which we don't need to adjust at all right now. So here is the zigzag, and it can go pretty wide at a 7. And then we can take it all the way down. Can we go any farther? We can go all the way to a 0, which, if you're aware, a 0 is a straight stitch. Let's check it out. regular, wide, narrow, and straight stitch. You can also change the length, which will bring it closer together. So if I were to select the standard width, and then I'm going to use my selector button here to adjust the length, I'm going to reduce my length till it's pretty small, and that will get me something like that. It's not quite a satin stitch. You would have to do much closer to get that. When you are doing a wide zigzag, you may notice that the top thread comes down to the bottom a little bit. That's not really a problem, but you can certainly adjust it a little if you want. Decorative stitches generally have it so that the top thread goes to the bottom just the tiniest bit, so that there's no chance of the bobbin thread showing on top of your project. If you're having any problems with the way your stitch out looks while you're in regular machine mode, it's important to solve them before you move to the embroidery mode. 95% of the time, rethreading your machine fixes the problem. So take your thread out from the top and the bottom and make sure you're rethreading properly with the presser foot up and the needle in the top position.